All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of the Walking Dead television series. This is for the Walking Dead season 10, episode 19 now, which is called One More. Alright, so I want to go ahead and do our review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 10. If you guys haven't seen the episode yet, don't worry, it'll be on tonight. You'll be able to watch it. And I think we'll do a live stream tonight. We'll see, how you guys feel about this episode. If you've seen it already, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Spoiler warning if you haven't. So this is basically the Gabriel and Aaron episode. Now, we had seen some of the scenes of this in the trailer leading up to these 6 bonus episodes, and I wasn't too hyped for it, although it did look cool. With you have Aaron with the mace hand that he has now, which is pretty sweet, and we do get to see him use it in this one. And this one actually did surprise me, because I actually thought it was better than, is it the best episode of this half? The first one, or this half, I say, these 6 bonus episodes we've seen. This is the third one we've seen so far. Definitely, this is better than the second of the 3, the Daryl episode, I think. Surprisingly, which is weird, because you're focusing on Gabriel and Aaron, not Daryl and Carol. But I thought this was a better episode. Is it better than the first one with kind of the sort of the Predator type of feel? I don't know. It's up to you. I guess, in some ways I liked it better, but they're both kind of cool for their own reason. This one just surprised me, because I didn't think it was going to be that good, and ended up being really good. So we see in this one the villain that a lot of us were looking forward to seeing, which is Robert Patrick's character, who we find out is named Maze. And spoiler warning, he plays that, and then he also kind of plays his brother as well too. So which is kind of cool. So a lot of us thought he might kind of be the leader of the Reapers, and that whole type of deal. It sounds like that's not correct, and he's not. He's kind of a random survivor out there that was with his brother and their family, or his family, his brother's family. And and definitely not a good guy. So we have Gabriel and Aaron going through in this episode here, basically a spotlight on the two. And so we see them go through. They are using an alarm clock. They're killing off some different walkers that are around. There's some cool lurker walkers that are kind of like drawn out in the sun, attached to things. They're coming apart at the seams. There's the cool one where they go to pull out this fatter walker, and his arms just rip off, which is pretty sweet. And just some cool different things as they're kind of smashing their way into this little shop or what have you, this little building that they're going into. Some cool walkers in this one, some cool different environmental pieces in this one, some bodies that are around, some that have been kind of torched, or the remnants of people that were lit on fire, this type of deal. And they kind of go in, and so they find a hog, which is kind of funny. So a wild hog, and they end up, Aaron ends up, I guess, killing it or wrestling with it, and ending up killing it. With some of them, it's kind of funny in the episode, like Gabriel's laughing at him and stuff, but actually those things can be pretty freaking fierce, because they can weigh a lot, and they're, like they get really fat, and so maybe eating walker guts or something. They get real fat, and they got a lot of weight behind them, so they can ram you. Actually pretty dangerous, actually, and they're vicious too, right? There's a saying, greedy as a pig. So it's kind of funny when he has to kind of take it down, and so he does, and then we find out later on, surprisingly, that hog, actually, the boar, actually belonged to Maze, I guess, or somehow he lured it in there and put it in a what was like a little office room or something like this. So they find some bourbon, and basically they get drunk. They spend a night, they get drunk. Gabriel has some good lines about him coming up, and him being sort of an apprentice for another pastor, and so it's it's pretty good stuff. I actually like it for Gabriel. because we don't always get to see that much from him, and he's pretty badass in this episode. So I do like to see that. And so they kind of have, I guess, a card game. They get drunk, they pass out. So then we go into kind of the next day. Gabriel wakes up, seemingly has a pretty bad hangover, and isn't able to find Aaron, and that's when we get introduced to Maze. And so I thought that Maze was a pretty good one-episode villain. I did think that we would see Robert Patrick in more episodes. It does seem like he's dead. He gets kind of smashed, and then he's on the ground, and then there's the blood kind of coming out of his head afterwards. So for a second there, I thought, oh, did they really kill him off? But it seems like they did. They really did kill him off. Gabriel does in it. So they kind of play. So he's got, what is it, an AK-47, some kind of assault rifle or something. He's got Aaron sort of tied up and everything like this. And so he starts talking with Gabriel, and eventually they get into kind of what is a Russian roulette type of situation where they're kind of playing cards. And so Maze seeks to kind of enlighten Gabriel, maybe seeing that he is a man of strong faith and everything. He's got the Bibles that he's been using as toilet paper. He ran, kind of funny, right? It's like a commentary on last year. He runs out of toilet paper, so he starts using the Bibles that are everywhere to wipe his ass with. And I guess the reason for that being is because he has taken a darker turn, and so he is not somebody. It doesn't sound to me like he's still a believer in God or anything like that. He thinks the whole thing is probably nonsense at this point. And he even goes into a little bit of talking about trying to teach them something, trying to show them something with respect to enlightenment. So you even have some kind of Luciferian sort of underties with this episode, underpinning sort of his philosophy, which is kind of the classic argument of good versus evil. And, maybe in this world, evil people being the rule, not the exception to the rule, with good people actually being the exception at this point in time, this far ahead into this many years into the zombie apocalypse. So they go through and everything, and he sort of basically gets them in trying to show some kind of maybe proving he's right, to have them aim the gun at each other or themselves and see how loyal they actually are to each other when push comes to shove and when a gun is in their face. And they basically, I want to say, do it perfectly, and don't sell out to sell their soul and sell out to point the gun at the other and fire the trigger in this Russian roulette game. They continue to point it towards themselves, and as such, they sort of show Maze maybe something that he didn't see, which is that there are still really good people, and yes, sometimes good people can win and do win. So they kind of get him to lower his guard and find out about his brother and what happened, which also we find out is a lie too. And then they're able to get the jump on him, and they're able to stop him. Gabriel's able to stop him. But we do get the sense that Aaron maybe is thinking, why did you do that whole thing? Then they go kind of looking around to see where he was staying or how he heard everything they were saying and everything. And they find that upstairs is his brother, who's been handcuffed, and his family likely dead right there in front of him, seemingly having been most likely tortured by his brother and everything after the falling out they had when it came down to resources and they kind of turned on each other. So we do get kind of this water tower in the background, which is pretty cool. And so some mentions of that from Gabriel, which is pretty sweet. Spoiler warning, in the comics, he has an important part in the comics near a water tower, a ladder of a water tower. So it's pretty cool. It's a kind of little nod, and that's the direction they're heading anyway. One more. That's the. Is it going to be Gabriel's final? I don't think so. I think he'll actually survive. It'd be too obvious if they had him be killed off right there when he goes to the water tower and everything. When they go looking to see what they can find there. So, but it is an exciting episode. It is good, and it's kind of a commentary on good versus evil in some ways, with Maze kind of coming in here and trying to kind of get them to maybe try to compromise them, or try to get them to compromise their beliefs and compromise their good nature in order to survive, even bringing up Gracie and the whole thing to try to get them to turn each other like him and his brother did. And in this case, he's not able to get them to do so. So it's it's good stuff. It's let's say it's a scary episode. Well, it's good stuff. It's what a lot of what we're used to. And for these 6 bonus episodes, is it the best one? I don't know. Maybe I'll put it like right there with this one in the first episode out of the 6, and I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's a good episode. One more, very good considering you have Gabriel and Aaron. Was hoping to see more of Robert Patrick in The Walking Dead because I'm a big fan of his. But it looks like to me he's dead. So and his brother is too, and he plays them both. So, but yeah, so they used him well and everything for one episode. I just thought he might be a more consistent, longer in the series, more time. So love what they did with Gabriel in this one. Aaron as well. I always like seeing Aaron and everything. He's always good. And so it's a pretty good episode. I'm not going to say it's anything incredible or anything, but it's good considering I actually thought it would be weaker than it actually was. It actually was a pretty strong episode, and a bit interesting with respect to survival of the fittest, nature, and choosing to do the right thing, choosing to be good, even when maybe it isn't in one's best interest. So that's it for this review, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Pretty much all I got to say about this one, and I'll see you guys again for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.